About 6,300 miles away in Oceania lies a trio of atolls comprising the fourth smallest nation on Earth, Tokelau. Settled by Polynesians a millennia ago, the islands were an idyllic home, at least until the ravages of climate change washed up on their shores, bringing an intense drought that left the population with no water. The islanders turned to solar energy, but it wasn't enough to save their way of life. That's when the people of Tokelau turned to their secret weapon. Coconuts. Yeah, coconuts. With an abundant local supply, the islanders convert coconut oil into biodiesel, allowing them to run their country entirely on renewable energy. Biofuels aren't a new thing. They've actually been around since we discovered that wood could be used to fuel a fire. However, the substances that we commonly call biofuels today made their first appearance in 1890, when Rudolf Diesel wanted to find a way to power his newly invented engine. With much of the world lacking a steady, local source of petroleum diesel, he envisioned vegetable oil as the fuel for the future, as farmers would be able to grow their own tractor fuel in their own backyards. Vegetable and cooking oils, yellow grease, and animal fats are a few of the sources that, when mixed with chemicals in a process called transesterification, creates biodiesel. In a world facing down climate change's increasingly detrimental effects, biofuels hold promise as an essential alternative needed to lessen our dependence on fossil fuels. So today we'll first refine our understanding of biofuels' positive effects on society. Then we'll test the air quality to monitor the environmental impacts, before finally taking a closer look at the researchers who are planting the seeds for a futuristic crop of new biofuels. Many environmentalists see biofuels as a step in the right direction to combat climate change. In the United States, policies regarding this impending environmental Armageddon are increasingly dominating our political discussions, with biofuels capturing the attention of many policymakers. According to an article from the Alternative Data Fuel Center, biofuels can help our energy security and reduce our carbon dioxide emissions by 74% when compared to gasoline. If the United States switched to independently growing, harvesting, and manufacturing biofuels, we would eliminate any energy dependence on other countries. In the event of a war or energy shortage, the United States would be largely insulated from ill effects and would be able to continue producing and running our economy at the same rate. We can also see a massive reduction in emissions, specifically in the form of CFCs, a type of carbon used as a refrigerant. Years after signing the Montreal Protocol, which limited the production of CFCs produced around the world, NASA scientists are noticing an upward trend in the ozone layer's health, with hopes of a full recovery sometime between the year 2040 and 2070. Now, if you've been anywhere near a gas pump in the past year, oof, and I'm sure you know why. Russia's war in Ukraine caused the price of oil to skyrocket in February of 2022, leaving many Americans struggling. Seeking to quell the impact of volatile price fluctuations in the oil market, the Biden administration put $800 million towards projects dedicated to safely creating biofuels. These investments hope to not only protect Americans from volatile prices, but also reduce our reliance on fossil fuels and support domestic agriculture. Biofuels not only protect our environment, they can also boost our economy. Because of the increased demand for crops, biofuels help the farming economy by bringing in more business and money. For example, after extensive biofuel research at North Dakota State University, a North Dakotan town decided to set up a biofuel production factory. According to a report from the Agricultural Marketing Resource Center, this factory now brings in an estimated $50 million a year and plays a pivotal role in its economy. Biofuels are not without their deterrents, with some warning that they can be dangerous for our environment and economy. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, diverting crops to biofuel production could lead to more land area devoted to agriculture, an increased risk of pollution, and higher food prices. When harvesting biofuel crops, a portion of their stored carbon is released into the atmosphere. If societies increase their reliance on biofuels, we would have greater demand for main crops and would need to allocate more land area to production factories. However, it's not just the environment that could potentially suffer. Biofuels have also been known to cause major health issues. In the article, Biofuels More Harmful to Humans Than Petrol or Diesel, The Guardian reported that stored carbon released during harvesting includes mass amounts of ammonia. This chemical attracts dust and increases the health risk for conditions such as heart disease, respiratory illness, and places people at risk of premature death. Furthermore, there's an unfriendly reality of a possible increase in food price as demand shifts crops from our table to our gas tanks. For example, the National Research Council observed a 350% increase in the price of corn between 2005 and 2012, a time when the United States heavily ramped up production of corn-based ethanol. At this point, it may be difficult to determine if biofuels are the environment's savior or nemesis. Thankfully, here in the state of Wisconsin, researchers have been looking into more responsible biofuel production with an aim of making the production process more eco-friendly. Their inspiration may have been motivated by the bacon you had for breakfast, or the dark side of that tasty treat, pig poop. In small amounts, manure doesn't have a significant adverse effect on the environment. But in large quantities, like on industrial farms, the nitrogen it emits poses a danger to our environment. To put that into perspective, this pool, roughly the size of this farm, is entirely runoff manure. According to the article, Better Fuel Through Pig Manure, published by Wired, the pig's manure-to-fuel efficiency is nearly at 70%. While this doesn't compete with corn's 130% efficiency, the process is still developing and has the added benefit of eliminating 110 million tons of unnecessary manure waste. Additionally, the technology is being fine-tuned to work Wisconsin's 3.5 million cows and the massive amounts of manure that lead to widespread water contamination. Viruses, parasites, and bacteria found in manure destroy wetland wildlife habitat and reduce the availability of potable drinking water. University of Wisconsin-Madison researchers have successfully isolated waste to extract the useful parts of manure, such as the fatty acids, to create energy-rich fuel. Imagine where we could be, not only as a state, but as a country, if we could get rid of some of our worst waste to save not just the environment, but also money. We are on the cusp of eliminating the economic strain of regular gas, greenhouse gas emissions, and perhaps most importantly, the iconic smell of Wisconsin's dairy air. As the people of Tokelau discovered, biofuels offer the unique opportunity to drive the economy of a nation and limit the pollution that leads to climate change. However, this must come with the acknowledgement that current production practices have their negative effects. Luckily, creative research is working to develop solutions to these negative effects and find entirely unique ways that biofuels can help make our environment healthier. By refining our understanding of biofuels, carefully monitoring its environmental impacts, and taking a closer look at this new crop, it's easy to see that the idea of biofuels isn't that cocoa nuts.